violent the type that gave her that?
I don't remember what I done told the police.
Why would you snitch on your brother to lighten your sentence for what you did? Why would you let them use you like that? It is because you have no love for yourself, no love for your people. To lighten your sentence for what you did. Why would you let them use you like that? It is because you have no love for yourself, no love for your people.
This is great grandson of We Rebuilding We Television. Subscribe today.
We rebuilding to last forever, reaching for the future. No matter the weather, we strong. We focus, get into the bag. Moving small with silence, never been the ones to brag.
What it do, what it do, what it do. Salute to everybody. This is great grandson of We Rebuilding We. Before we get into this, you already know what to do. Tap that like button. Share the live. We about to get into this content. And you know, it's a very sad situation, you know what I mean? A pig cop took out Big and Pac. Oh man, this is crazy, y'all, you know, and may they rest in peace. All right. Miss Wallace and Miss Shakur and their two sons. But it's like the spirits are working right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching all the footage and everything from the courts with Mob James, Keefe D, rest of these guys over there in the West Coast. But, you know, and it's sad because these two artists are New York City natives, man. And it's crazy, but we're going to get right into it. Shout out to my brother, Delray Richardson, man. You get what I'm saying? We going to get into it, man. Straight Game TV. Let's go.
The FBI has corroborated Keefe D's statements in regards to Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., also Reggie Wright Jr., being complicit in the death of the notorious B.I.G.
But once again, he tells you that he believes that Reggie Wright Jr. and Blood Gang members are the people that killed Mr. Wallace.
Yes, he said he believed that Reggie Wright Jr. and the Blood Gang members associated with him were the ones responsible for killing Notorious B.I.G. When asked who the individual was who actually killed him, based off of there was a composite drawing that was that had been provided and was kind of passed around, so we showed him that. Davis responded that the composite looked just like Reggie Wright Jr.
In court, the day after Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. testified, the bombshell came out. So I understand now why he tried to get ahead of it, because he knew it was coming. It was coming. These were FBI 302s read by the FBI agent who actually gave Keefe D his proffer deal. And the U.S. attorney, you know, who worked with the U.S. attorney's office to get Keefe D his proffer deal when he confessed. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what he had to say in regards to Reggie Wright Jr. I call him Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
He was actually at the Peterson Automotive Museum the night Mr. Wallace was killed.
That's correct, yes.
And then he saw some, at least people associated with Death Row Records at that location.
Yeah, he told us that prior to that, the night of the murder, Davis observed some females associated with Death Row Records at the party. He said, well, like Jewel, a singer, Lachelle, a comedian for Death Row. And Davis believes that they saw Mr. Wallace at the event and then called blood gang members to come. Davis did say he observed Reggie Wright Jr., DJ Quick, who was a performer for Death Row, Theo, a local disc jockey, and about 10 or 11 other Freetown blood gang members arrived at the event. Davis told Mr. Wallace that they were to watch, that they were there and they should watch out. And then shortly thereafter, Mr. Wallace was shot.
Boom. My God. But more than that, see, it's one thing to think something and have the words of Keefe D in which he told the FBI in regards to what he thought about Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. being involved. But more importantly, listen to Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. actually.
When someone fails to pay their property taxes, the government actually creates certificates
to brag about the murder of the notorious B.I.G. and how much he should be loved because he was somehow avenging Tupac, who fired Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. approximately 11 days before he was murdered.
It wasn't true that Pac sent the facts that fired right way like the month before?
Not before. It was fired about 7 days before, on the 27th of August. Myself and David Kenner.
I can't say that I got it or didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't know about it. Because I sure would. I'm the type of nigga to be like, fuck that.
Hold up. So this dude was fired 11 days before the shooting of Tupac. So that means off top, Tupac didn't have the right security with him. They're saying that Tupac took a cab to the MGM studio. That's crazy right there. That's crazy, yo. That night, he took a cab to the MGM studio, they saying, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna proceed.
Tupac I'm talking about. Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was fired 11 days before Tupac was murdered. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this appalling shit.
What's the hateful rage for? Oh, cause you killed Biggie? Well, if I did, wouldn't it make you supposed to love me even more if you love Tupac?
Amazing.
Hold up. Hold on, yo. Hold on. That was crazy right there. We're gonna bring that back right there. We're gonna bring that back. Let's go.
Listen to this appalling shit.
What's the hateful rage? Oh, cause you killed Biggie? Well, if I did, wouldn't it make you supposed to love me even more if you love Tupac?
Amazing. And what really took the cake was Darren Dupree. In regards to how he believed, or what he believed to be the convincing factor for him in regards to Keefe D confessing. And he said he was surprised, but confessing to being involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur, and what convinced him as to why Keefe D was telling the truth involving why Keefe D would ever mention his nephew.
Yes, one follow-up. In your 34 years, 20 homicide trials, ever made a case on a guy confessing to a homicide?
Yeah, I've had a couple confessions. Yeah.
When you were talking to Mr. Davis and he's telling you what he's telling you, did you have reason to doubt his version of events as it relates to the homicide itself?
I didn't think Mr. Davis was lying because he put the gun in his nephew's hand. And if anybody knows anything from what I hear, Mr. Orlando Anderson was the man besides Keefe D in that neighborhood. He was the prince, and his family loved him. I didn't think that Mr. Davis would put the gun in his own nephew's hand, dead or alive, and put that smut on him unless it was true.
Yo, it's that boy. There's too much dance. Today, we're using Librarian on timbre. Yes, sir.
Amazing. Amazing. And not only that, the crazy part is, and I think this is what really, truly, honestly hit home when you talk about, as far as why the LAPD was involved. This is how much Keefe D talked. The prosecutor had asked Darren Dupree, said, Mr. Dupree, where did Keefe D tell you that the conversation between him and Sean P. Diddy Combs involving the hit on Tupac and Suge take place? And he talked about Greenblatts, but more importantly, listen to how Darren Dupree explained it as to why the LAPD would even be involved in the situation based on Keefe D's testimony to them and confession about all of it. The hit, the Tupac, who was in the car, his nephew, everybody. Listen to this.
Just briefly, you brought up the fact that Mr. Davis said basically Sean Puffy Combs solicited the murder of Suge and Tupac during the course of that conversation.
Yeah.
Did he tell you where that conversation occurred?
It's a deli called Greenblatts, still there on Sunset in Hollywood in Los Angeles.
If he never provides that portion of the information, what jurisdiction would LA have to be investigating a homicide that occurred in Las Vegas? None. So it was that piece of information which provided the LAPD jurisdiction to even be looking at this murder.
You could say that. But like I said, on the Fed case with the RICO, that would have got incorporated into the RICO, the murder anyway. And that's what we were looking at. But yes, that's where it started. So you could use it. That also.
My God. Ladies and gentlemen, Keefe D had two proffer agreements with the FBI. One in 1998, in which he mentioned the people he thought was responsible for the killing of the notorious B.I.G. and mentioning Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. And then he got caught up again. And that's when he began to do a second proffer and offering up his involvement, implicating himself, his nephew, and all the people affiliated with him in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Wow. Listen.
Selling 2 kilos of cocaine.
And the type of evidence you had against Mr. Davis, what was it?
Most of it was telephone conversation intercepts from wiretaps, court authorized wiretaps.
And based upon the charges, ultimately, do you indict Mr. Davis for some crimes related to drug trafficking?
Yes, he was indicted, arrested, and then eventually pled guilty.
The type of sentence Mr. Davis was facing when he was indicted, what kind of ranges are we talking for those kind of charges?
I believe it was around somewhere in the nature of 10 years and initially, but it varies depending on, individuals' prior criminal history, whether they were felony convictions, drug trafficking offenses, and things of that nature. It also varies depending on the type of drug that the individual might have been accused of trafficking. Back then, at that time period, the federal sentencing guidelines, there was a difference in sentencing for rock cocaine, crack cocaine versus regular powder cocaine and things of that nature. And he was indicted for trafficking 2 kilos of powder cocaine.
As part of that investigation, the time when you do what's known as a proffer with Mr. Davis.
Yes, we did.
It's powerful, ladies and gentlemen. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's like you can't even believe it. So, it's actually sad. It's actually sad because when you think about it, all of this talking and the extra conversation with the police getting jammed up. The FBI agent also said that basically Keefe D was facing approximately around about 10 years. And now my question has always been, how do you substitute for what we now understand from the FBI agent, a 10-year drug charge for a murder charge that you received a proffer deal from, and you were basically, scot-free, and the confidentiality in which they held the proffer deal, they didn't let anybody know. The FBI agent testified to that they didn't let anybody know that Keefe D had did a proffer, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy. This is. So they kept the information private. It wasn't until Greg Kading did.
So like I was saying, man, the spirits are working right now, man. The spirits are working right now, man. Exposing a lot of things. This case most definitely hit rock bottom. So they had to have something to spark it back up to bring this case up. And word is born, y'all, because of Biggie's unaliving, is bringing up more into the Tupac case. I'm going to continue, man. This is Illmatic.
Murder rap, I told you, they didn't even tell Tupac's mother that Keefe D had confessed to being involved in Tupac's murder. That's astonishing. It's astonishing. And then at the end of Darren Dupree's testimony, the jury had a question for him. Listen to it.
All right, a question from one of our jurors for you. For clarity, would you say the feds were more worried about the bigger fish and the whole puzzle rather than the pieces, being you had the information from Keefe and didn't need to put it together?
Yes, they were worried about the bigger picture, but this is 2006, and the smaller types of investigations on both cases had already been run to ground. You needed to come with a different type of investigation to try to see if you can get it. So that's why Detective Kading, the LAPD.
What I tell y'all.
That's why you brought in FBI, ATF, DEA, other agencies to all help to try to solve both cases. Once we found out what Mr. Davis had said, it was Biggie Smalls at first, and then it went to Tupac Shakur.
Okay.
That was powerful. And so once again, if I'm Sean P. Diddy Combs and Keefe D gets convicted, I would be nervous. Yeah, I would be nervous. Because this is not the end. This is just the beginning.
So how I feel, The pigs is behind the whole situation. I got more footage. I got more content. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna have their opinion on the situation, but you know me, I'm gonna keep it 1,000, man. This joint is ugly. We New Yorkers, we can put the 2 and 2 together on any story. Like other people's out of state, they be like kind of slow on things. We can catch on fast, man, on what a situation went through or what occurred. I guess it was just in us as New Yorkers. You know what I mean? Like I said, they unalived 2 New York natives, and that is Pac and Biggie. Miss Wallace, Miss Shakur, they're with their 2 sons right now. They're with their sons. And the spirits are working right now, man. This case supposed to have been solved, but it was too much given to us as our people on the ins and outs. I'm gonna leave the link in the chat if you want to pull up. You heard? You heard? You can pull up and set your opinion. You feel me? But we're gonna proceed. Let's go.
Believe. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, you have it here. Nothing but straight game. This is one of the biggest trials that I've ever seen involving gangsterism, music, drugs, all of that. This is huge. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, comment and tell me what you believe and what you think, because that goes into a lot of what's going on, what people believe and what they think and what you feel. Ladies and gentlemen, your boy Del Rey, straight game.
Shout out to my brother Del Rey. You know, we gonna get into that, man. You know what I mean? We shout out to my brother Del Rey, man. But we're gonna get into more footage, and it's ugly. It's ugly, 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 yo. It's ugly, man. You feel me? Spiritual. You know, look at this guy right here. We're gonna get into this. Look at this ball. All right, look at
And
this.
nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Look at this motherfucking meatball. Look at him. Let's go.
REGINALD.
Real quick.
New York area, or where does he go?
Remember, I picked him up from the airport. My security guy is named Kevin Hackey, and we took him immediately. Went to Monty's restaurant and ate. Then we went to the studio, the recording studio that night, and from that point on, we got him into a room, took him to the Peninsula Hotel, where he stayed for, I believe, a month or 2. Then he got a spot on Wilshire, and later on a house in Calabasas.
As the head of Right Way Security, which was contracted by Death Row Records, were you responsible for Tupac Shakur's security?
Yes, sir.
How did you handle Tupac Shakur's security?
Well, I had 2 guys that were primarily always assigned to him. One guy was a guy by the name of Kevin Hackey, who was with him a lot at the beginning.
Peep game and listen. Listen to this guy.
Later on, towards the end, a gentleman by the name of Frank Alexander was the one that worked with him as well. And then I'll always have additional guys, like Al Giddings is one of them, fill in for him when those guys wasn't available. But generally always had one security guard with him. After this particular song came out, in about May or June, we upped it to 2 security officers.
Now, you mentioned a particular song came out that changed how you handled Tupac Shakur's security. What song are you talking about?
It was a song called Hit 'Em Up.
And is it fair to say that in that song, Tupac is aggressively expressing his dislike for the members of Bad Boy Entertainment as well as other artists?
That's fair to say.
And as a result of that, you decided to change security for Tupac or increase it.
Well, I was a part of the discussion and ultimately had to approve it, but I'm sure Mr. Knight, possibly Mr. Shakur, and maybe the security officer that was primarily
This dude
with
right
them.
here is a piece of shit. Just listen, my people. Listen to this guy right here, man.
We all agreed that he probably need another guy with him.
Were you aware during this time of a gang from Compton being used by Bad Boy Entertainment when they came to the West Coast?
We had heard those rumors and we were familiar.
And what gang was that?
Compton Southside Crips.
Now, the Southside Crips, that was the same gang that you had told us earlier that Mr. Davis belonged to. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And by Mr. Davis, I mean Keefe D.
That's what I believe he is, yes.
Yeah. And then, was there ever a time where Death Row and you and whatever other unofficial security Death Row had a clash with Bat and the Southside Compton Crips at all?
Yes. We had it at a Soul Train Music Awards. I previously stated that Mr. Davis was with him and that he was one of the ones close to the guy with the gun. Never said he was the one with the gun. But there's been out there, social media, where a gentleman has came out and admitted that he was the one that actually had the gun that particular incident by the name of C. Gutter.
So do you remember, well, I'm going to ask you what your independent...
You heard him mention C. Gutter's name. He mentioned C. Gutter's name. I'm going to proceed.
Recollection is. Tell us about that incident. So we're at the Soul Train, what is it, the Soul Train Music Awards?
Soul Train Music Awards, yes.
And approximately what timeline are we looking at?
April, May of 95.
Of 95?
Sorry, 96.
Okay, of 96.
96, I'm sorry.
And you had mentioned before the song Hit 'Em Up. Was this before or after the song Hit 'Em Up?
That was before Hit 'Em Up.
Okay, that was before Hit 'Em Up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us what happened at the Soul Train Music Awards.
Eve Online.
We pulled in. Originally, we had an entourage of about 50 people with us, but they only allowed two cars of us to get back in the back parking lot because that's where they had all the setup and the motorhomes and stuff like that. So we drove in the back. Mr. Knight, Mr. Shakur, and a few of the outlaws was inside of a Hummer, and myself and Frank, which was Tupac's security that night, Mr. Shakur's security that night. We drove in behind them. As we was getting out of the vehicle, or getting ready to park, Mr. Shakur saw Christopher Wallace and Puffy and a group of people, a few guys that I recognized from the South Side, in that entourage. As they were, Mr. Shakur immediately became enraged and started yelling, and confrontation between Mr. Small, Biggie, and Mr. Shakur took place to the point where one of their guys brandished a weapon. And then that's when I pulled my firearm and towards him and begged with him, pleaded with him not to raise the gun. There was some security from the Nation of Islam there. They got in the middle of it, broke us up. The gentlemen took off and ran.
There was people there, Nation of Islam. You remember that sketch back in the days when they had the sketch of the shooter that hit Biggie, and they had the sketch of one of those brothers from the Nation of Islam. See, now this is the distraction, because what was told to us was one of those dudes were in disguise. One of those dudes from Mr. Wright's set or his security team was dressed like one of our brothers from Fruits of Islam, man. That's dirty, man. That's dirty. But guess what? Hey, these dudes are being exposed. We all seen this on the side. We over here in New York. Those dudes talk too much. All right? Most definitely trying to set our brothers up. Come on. Y'all remember the sketch, what they said, man? They said the sketch was a brother with a bow tie. I remember that. I'm going to proceed, man.
Towards the street in the parking lot.
I'm sorry, who ran towards the street?
The gentleman with the gun and couple of the people that was with him took off and ran.
Now, you said that Southside was providing that type of backup.
They were with them in entourage, yes, sir.
Do you recall whether Dwayne Davis was one of those people?
Believe he was. I know he was with them, but like I said, I don't believe he was the one with the gun.
All right, let's fast forward to September 7th, 1996, or that weekend. When do you come to Las Vegas for that weekend?
I came out that Friday. I believe that was the 6th. The Friday was the 6th. I think the 7th is the day.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I came out that Friday. So we had a nightclub that was in the process of being open. And out here, I guess, there's some type of cars that everyone that work around with us have.
He said, we had a nightclub. We had a nightclub. When I play the Mob James video, it's going to be crazy. We're going to proceed, man. I'm going to be here for a minute. We're going to talk about this, man. We're going to talk about this, man. This is content. Like I said, if you just pulled up in the building, you press that like button. This is great grandson of We Rebuilt the We, man. You know what I'm saying? So you already know what it is, man. We're going to do what we have to do right here on this channel. You can also subscribe to our other channel, which is WRWTV, CH1, CH2, CH3. We're going all the way, man. You already know, man. Building up channels. And also, you can also link with me on Instagram at WWTVCH1 if you want to be part of the Black TV God for all my people out there, the great content creators, man. We got the TV God going to where it's going to be scrolling on your screen, just like back in the days, Cablevision. You know what I mean? How it's scrolling, giving you the times and which channel is going to be on. You feel me? We are the first creators of it. But we're going to proceed. This is great grandson. We Rebuilt and we having a reaction right now with this guy, Reggie Wright Jr. He ain't right, man. Yeah. Hello, he a part of what's going on, man. Yeah, I don't care what nobody say. I feel that he most definitely was a part of unaliving Biggie and Pac, man. He was a big deal of it. He had his securities, man. He had his own security, right way security, and then he had the police squad. This is nasty work, man. This is nasty work. But we're gonna proceed.
Alcohol. I think they were called town cars or something like that at the time. I had to get all my security guards to have those particular cars for that night because the attorney that was assisting us in getting the club open said, hey, y'all got to be really on y'all P's. We got to have everything on point because if everything goes smoothly tonight, there's a good chance we're going to be able to get the permits transferred from the previous owners to Mr. Knight's name.
Okay, so I want to stop you there.
Okay.
First, you're talking about you got advice from an attorney. Do you remember who that attorney was?
Yes, sir.
Who was that attorney?
George Calise.
Okay. And then when you got the advice from the attorney was generally on your P's and Q's, so to speak?
Yes.
Real iPhone. No prices at all. Go run that real phone for the free.
What when you're talking about being on your P's and Q's so that the club can be transferred to Suge Knight, was Club 662 at that time in Mr. Knight's name?
No, it was perceived that it was. People believed it, even because of the name change. Excuse me, but it hasn't officially been. The paperwork hasn't officially or never completed. It was never done.
Now, you talked about this.
Well, we had a sign and all of that called Club 662.
That's what 662 means.
662 on the keyboard of your phone, it would spell out the word MOB, which means Members of the Bloods.
Well, nobody has keyboards on their phones anymore.
I forgot about that.
And so the club itself, the name of the club itself rang out that it was a blood-affiliated club.
That's correct.
Now, what advice did Mr. Kalisis give you regarding being on your P's and Q's for that night in order for Suge Knight to be able to gain approval for running back?
So he advised, and the main thing that came out of that meeting was he advised all of my security guards, even though that they were authorized to carry guns, being off-duty police officers and stuff, that we shouldn't have guns on our possession inside of the club on that night.
So your understanding was, or at least the advice that you got was, inside Club 662, if you're working it for right-way security,
correct,
you're not carrying a gun.
Yes, sir.
Did you communicate that to the people working for you?
So we had a meeting in Mr. Khalif's office. He said it. Mr. Khalif said it. My guys probably wouldn't have did anything if I didn't echo it. Today I can't say I echoed it and agreed to it, but I'm sure I did.
What you're saying is you don't have an independent recollection, but you think you probably did at least this advice.
Yes, sir.
And when was this meeting?
That Friday after they had all came from the town cars meeting, because I took them all to Fridays, and we went and ate at Fridays after that meeting. So it was that Friday.
Okay. And then so the process was with your folks, people working with you, was that they had to get their TAM cards or whatever temporary work cards required to do the work that you needed them to do in 662. Then have a meeting with the attorney. The attorney tells them, hey, we're trying to get this club transferred to Suge's name. Let's keep it clean and don't carry a firearm.
That's correct.
Did you do anything else that night, Friday at all relevant to the events that occurred on September 7th, 1996?
The club actually opened on Fridays and Saturdays, but for some reason we didn't get a big attendance on Friday nights. But Saturday night.
So you knew that that night, September 7th, 1996, was the night that Mike Tyson was fighting Bruce Sullivan. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And was that part of the reason why you guys were going to have the club open because of that fight?
Those were the only times the club, under Mr. Knight, the Club 662 banner, we only did that about 3 times. And that would have been the 4th time. And so we only opened those 4 times, the Friday and the Saturday. And then we did it one more time where Mr. Shakur and Snoop Dogg did a St. Ives commercial, which was just a promotional private video shoot for a commercial.
Now, who was in charge of the security for Club 662 that night?
Well, ultimately I am, but I had a on-site supervisor by the name of Al.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He said he was the owner of that club. The owner of that club. Unbelievable.
He was actually who I consider in charge of the club, but ultimately as the owner I was.
And then we heard from James McDonald. He's suggested that he had a role in security as well, maybe different than your role in security. Were you aware of James McDonald being there at the club?
Yeah, James was a headache for my security. They hated him. But he and I, we've been knowing each other for 52 years, So, I mean, that was like my brother. So, James used to do it as a hustle. What James would do is go outside, get guys that looked like they had a bunch of money, and bring them to the front of the line. And that drove my security crazy, but James was just out there working the door. Sugar have a bunch of his homeboys to come and be on the lookout, still, blood related, Paru related, to be around. But James was mainly doing a little side hustle.
Now, in terms of as the person in charge or the person contracted for security, were you aware that Tupac Shakur was going to come to the fight on September 7th, 1996?
Definitely the plan. That was definitely the plan, and there was a reason that I knew he had to come, but that was definitely the plan.
Okay, well, tell us the reason why he had to come.
So we, Mr. Khalees, who he had something worked out, because that's why we had off-duty police officers. I don't know if they were off-duty. They were in uniform, so I don't know if they was working off-duty or they were on duty. But we had, my guys were responsible from the door inside, where the police officers were responsible for the door and the street, traffic control, and the parking lot. And so I guess how he got that approved was...
well, if you're guessing,
okay.
I don't want you to guess. Were you the person responsible for whatever event control or traffic control that the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department did?
No, sir.
Were you the point of contact?
I was the point of contact for the club, yes.
Yeah. You were the point of contact for the club, and then the person dealing with whatever traffic control, population control, whatever it was that the attorney, George Glaze's?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Y'all that somebody sent to me. It's crazy, man. And it's a search with this dude, Reggie Wright Jr. It's crazy. See if I get up here real quick. Come on. You'll check, give me a second real quick. This is illmatic right now. This is crazy. When they asked him about the case in Memphis, he said yes. So one of my people sent it to me real quick. All right, here it is. Boom. Crazy. Reggie Wright Jr., a former Compton Police Department officer, all right, and head of security for the Death Row Records. He was federally indicted in 2017 as a part of a large-scale investigation into the Memphis-based Peter Roll Mafia and its ties to the California-based Grape Street Crips. The Memphis case. June 17th, the U.S. Attorney Office of the Western District of Tennessee unsealed indictment charges. 22 members and associates of the Grape Street Crips and the Peter Roll Mafia with federal drug trafficking and money laundering offenses. The investigation, which began in 2013, alleged that the Peter Roll Mafia, led by Fred McCaster Jr., OG, original gangster, operated out of Bella Vista apartment complex in Memphis and distributed heroin, marijuana, methamphetamines, cocaine, and other drugs across Tennessee and the Mid-South. According to the court documents, members of the Grape Street Crips supplied these drugs to the Peter Roll family, which then distributed them locally. Reggie Wright Jr. was named as a member of the Grape Street Crips and Peter Roll Mafia in California, along with his father, Reginald Wright Sr., and others. Law enforcement background. Wright was a former Los Angeles County Sheriff Department lieutenant and had worked with the Compton Police Department before his disclosure in 2000. Wright Jr. also served as a Compton PD and later became head of security of the Death Row Records, a role that brought him into the public eye due to the label's controversial ties to gang activity and law enforcement. Later, legal public controversies. Wow, the Memphis case was part of a federal drug investigation. Drug trafficking investigation, Wright Jr. has also been linked to the decades-old allegations involving deaths of Tupac and the notorious B.I.G. In 2026, during the Las Vegas murder trial of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, Wright Jr. testified against Davis, denying any involvement in Tupac's 1996 killing and calling Davis a liar. See? Now look at this. We're going to get back into what we was looking at, and I'm going to continue, man, to show y'all, man, that this is really some nasty work, man, and justice has to be done, man. Rest in peace to Miss Wallace. Rest in peace to Mrs. Shakur, man. This is great-grandson of We Rebuild the Weave. He just stepped in the building, man. Most definitely. Press that like button, man. We're going to get into this. This is great-grandson of We Rebuilding We Television. Subscribe today.
We rebuilding to last forever, reaching for the future. No matter the weather, we strong. We focus, get into the bag. Moving small with silence, never been no one's to brag.
Call to get him there.
Okay. So you weren't the one that called Metro. Club, hey, we're also holding a benefit.
That and also Mr. Shakur was trying to work off some community service hours that he needed. I don't know how they made it happen in LA County.
And so Mr. Shakur was scheduled to perform that night at Club 662, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so you're telling us that it was your understanding that Mr. Shakur performing at Club 662 at this benefit would help him accumulate hours for community service.
Yes, sir.
So when was Tupac Shakur supposed to come to Las Vegas?
Well, they always came up on that Saturday. I know that they arrived about 4 p.m. on that Saturday, but if they were scheduled to come out earlier or not, I'm not sure.
And then at some point, who's the security for Tupac that Saturday?
Mr. Alexander, but he was out there with me, getting the town cars and everything. Mr. Shakur actually rode up with, I guess, his fiance and a few members of the Outlaws.
And who are the Outlaws?
The Outlaws is a bunch of people, actually, but it's a group of rappers that works with Mr. Shakur that he was trying to help get their careers going.
And was Malcolm Greenidge one of the members of the Outlaws?
Yes, sir.
And I think he goes by the name Edie Amin.
That's correct, sir.
And Katari Cox, was he one of the members of the Outlaws?
Yes, sir. And
then Afula, and I always get the name wrong, but Mr. Afula, was he also one of the members of the Outlaws?
He was as well.
Okay. And you said Mr. Alexander was the person that's supposed to be working security, or the person assigned for security for Mr. Shakur, but that he was with you. So on Saturday, was anybody with Mr. Shakur?
No, sir.
Did y'all hear that? Was anybody with Mr. Shakur? Was anybody with Mr. Shakur? And he said no. Because you know why? You forgot Tupac before he was.
You mentioned earlier, after the song Hit 'Em Up had come out, and that was probably, 3-4 months before this, you had assigned 2 security officers to Mr. Shakur.
That's correct.
So where's the other one?
Well, that was Mr. Hackey, Kevin Hackey. he was scheduled to also be attending and writing, and that's who I actually thought was going to be with him, coming up with him, because he normally was with him. You know, him and Mr. Alexander, they kind of worked out who would be with Mr. Shakur, and for some reason he didn't show up. He now telling me he had a late arrest and he was stuck at the hospital all day dealing with an arrest.
We ain't trying to hear that. We ain't trying to hear that, man. We are not trying to hear that, man. Word up, we are not trying to hear that, man. And this is not no allegedly. This is not no allegedly. Tupac fired you. He fired you. You got fired. And you told those dudes to lay back off of him. This was 11 days before our brother was unalived, man. And that's a fact. Proceed.
So the fight night arrives. Where are you? Do you go to the fight?
I went to the parking lot of the fight, so it was kind of hectic to get inside, but also got a call from Mr. Giddings, Al Giddings, who was my supervisor at the club, and they was having some logistic problems there, and I elected to go and get things in order at the club.
So you get to the parking lot at MGM, see it's a little crazy, and decide to head over to Club 662.
That's correct.
And was Club 662, it was on Flamingo, is that right?
1700 Block of Flamingo, yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, can I see Exhibit 2? I'm going to publish Exhibit 2, which has already been admitted. All right, actually, Mr. Wright, you're not positioned great for any of this, but there we have. Can you see 662 up there?
I don't have my glasses.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
I got you.
Get him out of here, man. Get him out of here.
Commissioner Bush, Runner? No, Commissioner Bush?
Oh, yeah. My name is about this courtroom freely.
Thank you. You see
that face. Look at that face, man. He was very much involved, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta remember, man. It was a war on the street in Compton with these two sets, man. Before Tupac even signed with Death Row. There was a war going on over there in those streets. Now, what happened is, by Tupac signing with these dudes, it boosted things up. And they was also, there's no allegedly, heated at Tupac saying M.O.B. Remember Tupac got the tattoo M.O.B.? Yeah, they was heated about that, man, because you was not a member. There was a lot of things going on, man. I'm gonna proceed, man. But look at Keefe D face, man. Look at his fucking face. Yeah. And I'm keeping it 100 with y'all. I think he did some things on purpose. You gotta remember, there's nobody around. People that was in the car, they gone. They unalived. So many people are unalived. Even some of the cops. Even some of those dudes that was a part of Reggie's Right Way Security got unalived. Yeah, ain't no allegedly. When Suge said his man got clapped and I was by a wolf, there's no allegedly. He was a part of Reggie's White Security. Crazy. Proceed, man.
The clubs, there's a red 662 club on this map. You see it?
Yes, sir.
Is that accurately representing where Club 662 was?
Yes, sir.
So you leave the Las Vegas Strip and head over to Club 662.
That's correct, sir.
Was it? Did you handle the logistical issues at Club 662?
Well, I guess. I'm sure we got worked out. Yes, sir.
And then 662. Did you stay at 662 or did you head back to the that night?
No, I stayed there the whole time until until I was contacted by some other individuals.
Okay, so we'll start, before we get there, how was 662 super busy that night, or was it kind of less crowded?
We promise a tenfold refund if it doesn't work. Traditional dentures can cause jawbone loss and alter your facial contours over time, but these dentures completely avoid these problems. They fit in.
The clubs generally didn't start getting crowded till about 11 p.m. I think we were there like 8:30. So it eventually got there, but I wouldn't call it super crowded at that point.
And then you said you were there, and then you something changed. Well, we all know that on September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur was shot, and Mr. Knight was at least grazed in the head by a bullet. Did you find out about that?
Yes, sir.
How did you find out about that?
Two gentlemen, Bunchery, true name was Alton McDonald, and a gentleman by the name of Neckbone. Well, his true name is Roger Williams, the moniker is Neckbone. They came inside the club and came straight to me. It was like, Reggie, Suge and Pac just got shot down the street. I thought they were messing with me because they like, where Reggie at, because I wasn't there with him. But then Mr. Khaleesi, who was standing near me.
Did you hear what he said? Again! Come on, man, I know you got that. He said it again. Word.
Yes, he talked to some of the officers that was working out front, and he kind of verified to me that something happened. And then by that time, I see about 4 or 5 other units that were working at the club. They started taking out heading that way.
Now you mentioned two people, Bunchery, Alton McDonald. Does Bunchery have any relation to James McDonald, the person that testified before you?
That's his little brother. Yes, sir.
And then you had mentioned Neckbone, Roger Williams. Were these people employed by Right Way Security?
No, sir.
Were they part of Mob Pyro?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say, as we talked about earlier, that Suge would have members of Mob Pyro around?
Correct.
And while they weren't official security, would you say they provided
Nasty word.
a different form of security?
Nasty word.
That would be a fair, yes, that's correct.
So upon hearing the fact that, well, at that time when Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur were headed to Club 662, were you aware of their movements? Were you aware that they were headed over to the club at that point?
Not at that point. I hadn't heard anything. Frank hadn't communicated anything with me, and I just knew they would eventually get there. But no, I didn't know any movement where they were at or when they were coming towards our way.
Oh, you had said Frank hadn't told you anything. At this point, had Frank met up with Tupac?
Oh, I'm sorry. Frank was with Mr. Shakur since about 4 p.m. on that day, 4 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. He was with him all that day.
So he didn't drive out with Mr. Shakur, but he eventually met up with Mr. Shakur.
That's correct. Him and another gentleman who initially was with him by the name of Michael Moore.
And was Mr. Moore also a member of security?
He worked for Right Way as well.
Name dropping.
And so then you have Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight headed to Club 662. To your knowledge, were there other people headed over? I guess we already heard about Neckbone and Bunchery. Were there other people headed over to Club 662 with Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur? On driving over, was it more than one car, or were there a number of cars driving over to Club 662?
And I can only speak on what I know now.
Yeah. Okay, well, no, back then, did you know?
I just knew who normally with them.
So after Bunchery and Neckbone tell you that Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight had been...
That's Mob James' brother. May he rest in peace also, man. I'm not going to play the whole video of the Court TV situation with Reggie Wright Jr., the meatball. You heard? We're going to get to the next video. We're going to get right into it, man. Watch this joint right here. Now, this right here going to make you bug out.
Hello, everyone. Back to my channel. Today, I am taking a massive step forward in AI faking.
The trial against the accuser in the murder of rap icon Tupac Shakur is scheduled to start Monday. In a recent interview with Me from Jail, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis denied his involvement and pointed to the former head of security for Death Row Records. Now Reggie Wright Jr. is giving me his side of the story.
Even his own attorney said he's a pathological liar, right? But it's unfortunate that he want to bring me into this after all of the years, because now I guess he said that his defense is heading kind of downhill.
Reggie Wright Jr. responding to claims made by Dwayne Keefe D. Davis in this sit-down interview from jail, days before the start of his murder trial.
The evidence pointed to Reggie Wright Jr. And he brought up my name from day one. And he basically started some bull.
Wright says he was in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996, but insists he was at a nightclub, not the scene of the deadly shooting.
Well, the guys from the entourage came up to me and said, Reg, Suge and Tupac just got shot down the street.
Days later,
we knew of the Southside Compton Crips, but we didn't know the actual players until later on that week.
He says a police detective identified Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson, in surveillance video. This scuffle between Anderson and Shakur and his entourage happening inside the MGM after a mic shortly before the deadly shooting.
We have always knew it, like I said, since late mid-September of 96, but the world didn't know.
But then Davis takes part in this book, Compton Street Legend, published in 2019, and admits a role in the killing in interviews.
And refreshing that it was getting out there. And it's unfortunate that Keefe didn't know the difference between a proffer and an immunity agreement.
Now Davis says he lied about involvement just to make money, and in this interview said he wouldn't kill Shakur because he was a moneymaker for the record label.
KPD could never show you one penny that Death Row Records have ever given him or paid him. One penny.
So when Dwayne Davis gets arrested a few years ago, what were your thoughts?
I was predicting that it was going to happen. Number one, because, of course, they came knocking on my door in like 2022 or something like that. So I knew the investigation was going on. And about a month prior, I had been before the grand jury and testified.
What do you feel like your role is in the trial coming up?
Just to lay out an atmosphere of what was going on between Death Row, Bad Boy Records, the Mob Pirus, and the Southside Compton Crips associated to the record company. That's it.
Also on the witness list, Suge Knight, who has said publicly he won't cooperate.
Mr. Knight, at 61 years old, still under that stupid ideology that a lot of people believe and want to teach the young men that gang members is cool. Being a gang member is this is how they get down and all of that, which is so far from the truth.
Another name that surfaced in the discussion of the East Coast-West Coast feud, Sean Diddy Combs.
Do you think that Sean Combs has any role in any of this?
Just an incentive. I believe Puffy, as Keefe D put in his book, threw out the offer. And just in conversation and solicitation, I can't say, but he threw it out. And then when Orlando came and told his uncle what had just happened to him, and Keefe D knew he had the solicitation, $1 million, they just beat up on my nephew. Shoot, I always called it a 2-for-1.
And then
Now, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis told me perhaps there's bad blood with Reggie Wright Jr. stemming from an issue over a woman. Wright disagrees and says if it's over his wife, Davis isn't her cup of tea. You can watch my full interview with Davis at 8newsnow.com. Starting Monday, I will be inside the courtroom.
We're going to get right into the next one, man. This is Bob James, right?
Have you ever wanted to see with this tool? You can zoom right down to your
Cross-examination, Mr. Singh.
Sir, have you ever met me?
Excuse me?
Have you ever met me before?
No.
Have you ever spoken to the district attorneys prior to your testimony here today?
Once.
And is that what you're referring to as the time that you told them, like, hey, any attorney here is better treat me as hostile because...
Yeah, I told him I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Now, a couple questions for you, sir. And this is more for clarification. So on the night of the murder, you were working as the head of security for 662.
Yes.
Explain for us a little bit about the club. Was that Shook's club or?
To my understanding.
Okay. And
you heard what he said. Shook. It's my understanding. But Reggie Wright said he was the owner. I'm gonna proceed.
When you were there as head of security, were you there? Had you worked security prior to this particular night?
I did an event there once before. Yeah, same thing.
Okay. And on this particular night, was this an event like some type of fundraiser or something for police officers or anything like that? Do you recall what the event was for?
We wouldn't have been there.
Okay.
No.
What was the reason for the event?
It was Mike Tyson fight. Tyson was coming back. Tupac was supposed to perform like other people, and we was there for that.
Okay. Can you describe for us how big the club is so that we can...
30 years ago, a little bit bigger than this room.
So it's relatively, it's not like a two-story. It's not,
it's small.
All right. And in terms of the club itself, you were there and you were sharing with us that there were other people that were there.
Yes.
Law enforcement as well as I don't know, people from your side of town.
Oh, law enforcement was outside. The Metro would say, "Why y'all putting words in my mouth?"
Sure.
They were outside. We were on the inside. Wasn't no law enforcement mingling with us.
So, as far as you know, law enforcement wasn't hired by additional security?
No, this was Metro posted up all over the place.
And so they were there specifically just harass or just send a...
So, peep game. Right way security are police officers and gang members. All right? So, crossing jurisdiction, right now they'll be, off duty, but they still are in position as police officers, just as security for death row. See, you're putting the two and two together, man. I'm gonna proceed.
Warning or what?
No, they were there. Like when you have events in Las Vegas, everybody knows. You're going to see Metro here, every block.
Yeah.
They was posted up, which they do all the time.
But you're telling me that as head of security, you do not know or you don't believe that Reggie Wright hired the Metro officers to come
I know for a fact he didn't hire the Metro police.
Okay. Do you know how many people were on the payroll that night from your security team?
Well, y'all do paperwork different than we did. Our paperwork was getting cash money. Our paperwork was what they call under the table. We had at least 30, 40 of my homeboys there. Reggie Wright Jr. and his security, his company, the people work for him, didn't have nothing to do with what Suge paid us for working. So that was two different entities, Reggie and Suge. The homies was there for Suge Knight. Reggie Wright hired his company to watch over Suge Knight people.
Right.
So his security did like the right thing. My security did what they ain't gonna do. You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
The police gonna walk you out of there. We gonna drag you out of there. So it was a difference, but not on the same paper.
Sure. And once again, the intent was to protect 662, right? To protect the club, protect the patrons that were going to go there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of your knowledge of what happened on that night, fair to say you weren't present when the shots had rung out.
No, I wasn't there.
Okay. And your testimony is that you had heard from other people initially that, hey, Tupac had been shot.
Yes.
And you had thought maybe other people were maybe relieved, thinking like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. He's gonna be okay.
That's what came back to 662. People that went to the scene, and everybody said Tupac was talking. So everybody came back to the club saying he's gonna be all right. So people just went back to, me.
There are two ways to end up owning
In terms of the that night, you go back to Compton. You live in Compton.
Yes.
You still live in Compton?
No.
At the time you live in Compton, you go back to Compton, and you tell us that there was a lot of tension. Was there? Can you describe that for us when you went back in terms of what kind of tension we're talking about?
You sure you can answer that?
Is it going to be graphic?
No, I raised it, but you asked me a question. I don't, and what I explained to them, I don't want to send him to prison.
Sure.
Even though we don't like each other.
Sure.
I don't want to send you to prison. So that's why I'm here where I'm at and where I am.
Even though we don't like each other, I don't want to send you to prison. Even though we don't like each other, mad bodies unalived, I don't want to send you to prison. Proceed.
Yeah, because I changed my life. I'm raising my grandkids, teaching them never to be like their papa. And here I am explaining to people what I used to be. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all. And you asking me questions that can hurt him. And like I told them, I'm trying to avoid to answer the questions that they might look at me and say, something is wrong.
Well, let me put it this way. Let me help you out with this.
Thank you.
So these people right here, what they want to know from you is, did you see who shot Tupac?
I told you no.
Correct. So outside of that question, right, the next question I'm asking you is, when you went back to Compton, was it like a Southside Crip that shoots a Pyru Blood, and then a Pyru Blood shoots a...
See, there go right there, man. There was a war going on in the street, and this guy wanted Mob James to spill the beans, but he ain't gonna do it. Why were you talking about this and you want to talk about street things that's going on in the neighborhood, man? But, like I said, we gonna proceed, man.
Southside Crip, is that the tension that we're talking about?
Do I answer this?
That's a straightforward question. It's a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Did you see that?
When I was a part of that life. I was a part of that. And I was, no, because you asking something that's gonna hurt this dude. And okay, let me stop.
And once again, I want to emphasize.
When we got back to Compton,
okay,
it was a gang war. People were getting hurt.
Okay.
People was being sought. People were looking for certain individuals from his neighborhood,
okay,
as well they did mine.
Okay.
But Orlando, him, and certain other people were being salted because people wanted to kill them.
Sure. Were they the only ones that they wanted to kill?
Am I the only one up in here? No, they weren't the only one.
Okay.
It's his neighborhood in particular.
That's right.
But they were the main subjects of a gang war. They was in the middle, such as me.
So you're telling us that people back home somehow had some type of information that said that that guy, as a bunch of other people, were involved in what?
In the murder of Tupac.
Okay, but my question to you, stop. Can you focus on me for a second, sir?
Yeah, I will.
And I apologize. I just want to make sure that we're clear, okay, for these people. In terms of that information, none of those people were there, right?
And what people you be speaking on? The people that was already in the neighborhood, or the people that left Las Vegas that was shot to go home, bear their arms, and go to somebody else's neighborhood to look for somebody? They had to pay it back.
So once again, my question to you is that the information that I'm asking about is the people that back home, you're saying were eyewitnesses to this?
How could people back home be eyewitnesses to something that happened in Vegas? No, that's not what I'm saying.
The people that were here in listen to my question, sir. The people that were here in Las Vegas, you're telling me were eyewitnesses to what happened and went back home. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, the people that was at 662.
Just answer my question, sir. Yes or no?
I can't answer that without a what you call them. You trying to tell me to say something that you're not going to understand. If you let me explain to you.
No, answer my question.
I'm not answering nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, Mr. McDonald, focus for a second.
No, I am focused. Very.
Focus on this. My question to you is this. You didn't know what happened that night because you weren't there.
I was at 662.
Right. Do you know who was there?
I know it's there.
Okay. Like who?
Talk to your lawyer, man. This dude is tripping. I'm not going to explain that. I can't answer that.
Okay. Let me ask you this next question then. You are telling us that people back in Compton, for some reason, knew what happened here in Las Vegas.
A phone conversation. People found out when people left Las Vegas the same night Tupac was shot, went straight back to Compton. It only takes 3.5 hours to get home.
Sure.
Yes, it wasn't a problem for people to find out what happened. No problem at all.
They got on their phones, they texted people, they let them know what happened here on the night of the shooting?
Yeah. They had walkie-talkies, they had all kind of phones. They had ways to call people to say whatever. But when people left Las Vegas that same night, after they found out and got in their cars and went home because it was a situation, Pac was shot. Okay. Retaliation is a mug. Come on, man. It was for real, for real. All of this was for real.
Now, the night of the shooting, did you have a walkie-talkie, a Nextel thing or something like that?
No.
Did Reggie write?
He had in his pocket. I don't know what he had on his hip.
But you were the head of securities, but you're telling us you did not have that type of
Right-way security has nothing to do with the gang-banging security, PARUs, whatever you want to call us. They had nothing to do with us.
Okay.
The phones that Suge had for certain individuals, they had the phones. Like the guy that was bodyguard for Tupac that night. Like some of the guys that was at the Tyson fight, like Suge Knight. Certain individuals had phones.
Security.
Okay, so, all right, I get what you're saying. You're not there, but you're saying other people were.
Yes, I'm saying there was a lot of people there.
A lot of people were there at the shooting that took place.
That was in the entourage, yes.
Let's see. Okay, just one final question. You're here today, and I think the state had asked this question under a subpoena. You're ordered to be here today, right?
Yes.
In terms of that subpoena, for instance, is that's the only reason why you're here is because of that subpoena?
I don't have no other reason to.
They bullied him. He didn't want to be there. Beloved did not want to be there. To where he was forced to go to court. He had to go to court in Cali to be forced to go to court because he was subpoenaed to be forced to go to court in Las Vegas. He didn't want to be there. We're gonna proceed, man. That's crazy.
Be here.
Yeah. In order for you to get that subpoena, you were served that subpoena back in California?
Yes.
By a police officer?
I don't know. He was in uniform.
Okay. And that order required you to go to a court in California?
I had to go to court in Victorville.
And then that court in California said you have to show up here.
And in that court, I cussed them out and told them you can't make.
Look at that face, man. That shit crazy. Man, talk to your lawyer, man. You asking the wrong type of questions, bruh. That can get you locked up. But I ain't gonna do nothing to get you locked up, man. I don't want to send you to jail. Proceed.
Me do nothing.
Right.
And in that court, they told me that I would be in attempted court. Me raising my grandkids, I'm not going to put my grandkids in the car and move somewhere so y'all can't find me. So all that running and living a different life, I ain't doing it. So I agreed to come. And like I explained to everybody in here, you ask me something, I'm going to be honest about. You ask me something I don't want to talk about, you're going to have a problem. Treat me as a hostile witness. You're not going to talk to me and tell me as a grown man what I have to do up here. I'm not finna send him to prison. You are.
So the accusation now is because of the fact that we're trying to ask you questions, you're blaming it on me.
You asking me questions. If I just like answer your questions, we gonna have a problem in here, a misunderstanding. And you're asking me something that wouldn't be good for him.
Right. And once again, I just want to look. We're just trying to figure out who shot Tupac. You're telling us that you weren't there to see it. That's all I want to know. At the end of the day, that's it. Right?
Was I in the entourage when Tupac got shot? No.
Okay. Nothing else, right?
I was at 662. I mean, that ain't hard. That's easy math.
No further questions, John.
Anything further, State? All right, we've got one more phase and then we'll let you out of here.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Seeing no hands. Oh, we do have one. Okay, hang on one second.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's nasty work, man. It's nasty work, man. It's with Mob James right after he left the courtroom. What he had to say, courtroom, even expressing why he would not testify against Keith D. You know, salute to that brother on that part. But we're going to get
At the beginning, into like a little angry because Keepy D lawyer was asking questions that would fuck Keepy D up. And I wasn't liking that. I explained to them several times. I'm not the reason or be the reason to put that man in jail. That's y'all job. But I didn't want to be there.
So for how you change your life, and we hear all these guys that acting and pretending, and we don't look at it like, we don't want people to know our past, and I want to commend you for going on there. You did what you did, but also let these people didn't even want to come.
No,
that you was brought in as a hostile.
I didn't sign the subpoena. That's why I don't have one with me today. I'm not signing nothing. I told them at the door, take me to jail. I'm not going to court. And then they made me go to court in Victorville to force me to come to Vegas. And so they did that. The judge didn't want to hear nothing I said. I'm explaining to the judge. My daughter is from the same neighborhood as Keepy B. If something happened to my daughter, I got to come like this, looking like a thug. And I only come looking like this because they told me the Southside cats was coming up here to holler at me. So I dress like this. It's 61. That nigga, if you want to come at me, come at me. But you're going to know who I am. And I'm going to meet resistance. What is this? So let's rock and roll. So I came in my jeans and boots and my friends and whatever, coming like a grown man. I'm 61 years old. 30 years ago didn't mean shit to me, like what I'm saying. Now life is precious to me because I'm raising. I got an opportunity to teach my grandson to be a man, not to be a thug, not to be with the business, not earrings, not sagging in his pants. Go to school, learn. I'm teaching homework. I'm teaching my grandson how to be a young man, not a thug, not to be aggressive and angry, and not to use excuses for every time you get in trouble. We don't have no excuses. Everything I was, he not gonna be.
Yes, sir.
And I wasn't finna run the streets and go from house to house until this shit was over because they put a warrant out for my arrest. I've been out of prison since 1988. I ain't going back for nothing, and especially not CPD.
I got one more question, what I found that I didn't know. I heard the judge today, and I've been to several trials, Big U, Lil Dirt, federal, state, but I never heard it where a jury can ask a question right there.
This Las Vegas.
Could you explain a little bit
Las
of
Vegas.
that? This is the only one, I never heard that.
Las Vegas rules, even with out here, no town, whatever, they have their own rules, their own laws. Come down here, and you don't meet the dirty bunch. Them motherfuckers that take you to they do what they do, how they do in Las Vegas. They give you 10 to 25, you gonna do 29. Do the math.
Do the math. Good
Real
deal.
talk.
Real talk, hitting corners with Melvin Farm, the realest shit, not on the inside.
Yeah, my people. I just want to say thank y'all for pulling up, man. Most definitely. This is great grandson of We Rebuilding We. Stay tuned, subscribe, check out more videos by us. Peace.
We must have bricks in the car, road back around.
Get every light us out already, cause you want non-stop fire. Roll.
Got another brother, We Rebuilding We. OG right there. Go subscribe to his channel.
Great grandson in the building.
We rebuilding to last forever, reaching for the future. No matter the weather, we strong. We focus, get into the bag. Moving small with silence, never been the ones to brag. Haters see and hear the name, we rebuilding, we everlasting in the game. Stay far away from lanes. Praise the rules and Prince and Paul the name. We are not the same. Praise the rules and Prince and Paul the name. We are not the same. Are not the same. And we are not the same. Praise the rules and Prince and Paul the name. We are not the same. Na 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 na. Are not the same. Are not the same. This is and we are not the same.